Hey y'all, welcome back to the podcast. Today I have Sara who lives in New Hampshire. I mean, that's far from me. I wonder, we should look up how long it would take for me to drive to you. A long time.
A couple days, probably.
Probably so. Because I'd have to stop 24,000 times to get food and potty.
For sure. For sure.
Oh my gosh. Sara, how are you today?
Doing good. Yeah.
Good. She tells me that it's so cold and she needs some of our heat. And I said, woo, we got plenty.
Mm-hmm.
It is summer in the SIP for sure. Holy moly, it's hot. Mercy. I don't even think, that's a lie. I was about to say I haven't even been outside today, but I did. I had to go to the grocery store for my group coaching live kitchen demo thingamajig. So had to buy some capers.
I saw that.
Capers. I don't have capers handy.
No, that's not something I have in my pantry either.
I have them now. I'm good for a minute. I think I'll have capers for a while. Girl, thank you so much for being on the podcast. I could interview you. I'm so excited. Why don't you go ahead and tell us about yourself?
I am 40. I am in New Hampshire, as we've talked about. So I'm not Southern and healthy, but I'm Northern and healthy. I'm going
That's
with that.
right.
But I'm married to a Southerner, so it kind of all works out in the wash. So
where is he from?
He's from Texas.
Oh yeah.
So I have 2 kids. I homeschool them, 2 boys, and I homeschool both of them. I work full time as well. My husband runs his own small business, and so we got busy life.
Yeah.
It's great.
2 boys, girl.
2 boys, 10 and 8 tomorrow. One turns 8 tomorrow. So
happy birthday. 10 and 8.
Yeah.
Well, are they active little boys? Are they in sports and stuff like that?
They're not really sports, they're science kids. And so they are out in nature. They are looking for critters and bugs and can tell you anything you want to know about a reptile. They're your people.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that. So how long have you known about Trim Healthy Mama?
So I was introduced to Trim Healthy Mama in 2019 by a friend of mine. But a month, or I guess it was a couple of months prior to that, I actually went on a sugar fast on my own. I did a 30-day sugar fast.
Okay.
Just to try to see if I could get myself feeling better. I wasn't feeling great and knew I needed to do something. So that kind of started the journey. I did the sugar fast, and then that actually rolled nicely into THM, the lifestyle of THM. So I started learning that program, and it was confusing and I got it wrong all the time.
Whenever I had a lady tell me one time, she goes, why does this, she called it a diet, which that's like a cuss word. Honestly, but I understand what she meant. Why does this diet have so many letters? And I'm like, oh girl, they're just abbreviations. Let me show you.
Yeah.
But I know it is. I know.
I had never heard of, separating fuels like that. Yeah. So to me, that was a completely new concept.
Right.
In how to eat. I was like, you eat steak and potatoes. Like, that's what you do. I don't know. So it took a while. It took me a good 3 months before I saw any physical change with THM. But I stuck with it, which I was kind of surprised because usually it's like, you don't see anything for a month or so and you're like, all right, that's not working. But
super common. That's super common. Yeah.
But I was feeling good. I was noticing that I was feeling different. I didn't see any difference, but I felt different. And so I stuck with it. And so let's see, when I got to my year trimmiversary, I had dropped about 20 pounds, which was great. I'm a kind of a short, small person, so I kind of am stocky, I guess you could call. So it takes a while to move, but there's not a lot to move. So I think so 20 was good for me. That was a big deal. And then let's see what happened. And then COVID hit, and then I things went crazy. We couldn't find food. It was like, get whatever you can because you have to eat. And so the plan was kind of, it went down to like, I was like maybe 60% on plan, as much as I could be.
Right.
But then you had stress and you have this and you have that. And yeah. So I kind of fell off the wagon for maybe a year and a half or so.
Okay.
Unfortunately gained all that 20 back because that's what happens when you add stress and junk.
Yeah, it does.
So, but then let's see, I decided to pick it back up and I was doing it on my own, like, I don't know, 85%, but I was always giving myself leeway, like, oh, it's the weekend. Oh, it's Friday. You can have a few chips. You can have some cheese. It's okay. And it wasn't okay.
No, it's not. Those naughty nibbles.
Exactly. And so I got to the new year, January this year, and I said, I can't do this anymore. Like, I know that it works. I know I felt much better when I was on THM totally, and I have to get my mindset back there. So that's when I kind of was starting to look into coaching, or like, what do I need to do? And that's when I picked your group and I decided to join Buds, and I was like, well, let's try it. We haven't tried that yet and it can't hurt. And for me, the accountability is super helpful. So, tracking everything, being accountable, not just to a coach, but to a group of people that you are, kind of watching each other, just making sure like, hey, is everyone still good? I like that community aspect of it. And up here in the North, not many people know about Trim Healthy Mama. It's not very common. And so there's not a huge community of people to connect with. So virtually that helps to do that.
For sure. I have been enrolling my one-on-one program. So I've had a lot of prospect discovery calls, if you will. That's what, I don't know why that's what they're called. It's what they're called. I don't know. But anyway, so we're discovering each other. I don't know. That's really weird. I don't like that. But anyway, so there's a lot of, they want to know what's the difference between one-on-one and Buds. And I'm like, well, they're super similar, but in one-on-one, I'm like, it's me and you, and with group, I don't take roll. I'm not going to say, hey, Sarah, where you been? It's your job as a group member to participate. Right. And that's where I think a lot of people feel like they fall through the cracks in group coaching, whether with me or with or with anything, but you're paying a little bit less for the, you're still getting the same thing, because one-on-one and group, they get the same menu, the same education, the same tracking technique. You have availability to ask questions for both, but you have to show up and participate. So being a busy mama, did you find it difficult to do that, or you had to make it a priority?
Yeah, it just became a priority. It was like, you're doing bedtime because coaching is happening. Like, that's how it goes, like, okay, you're up, I've got this, and I have a supportive family. So that was never an issue. Even being on vacation for part of Buds, I was on vacation away from home for 2 weeks. And
I want to talk about that in detail in a minute.
Yeah, even that, I was like, okay, I have to go to my room and do coaching. Like, that's it. That's what I'm doing while I'm here.
So you felt it was, you treated it like a class, like a course.
Yeah, right? Well, I was paying for it. I was going to get as much as I could out of it.
Amen. That's right. I love that.
So, and it was working. It was helping, and I needed to keep going, because I know if I just walk away, the potato chips will come back, and I don't want to do that. I don't. So
good. Love it.
Yeah.
Your participation was great. Like, the people that participate kind of rise up to my radar, I guess.
Yeah.
And so I do see, but that's not anything right or wrong, right? It's just the way it is. It's just like my people that follow me that will never do coaching. I still recognize them. Speaking of prospect calls, months ago, I had one with a girl, and we were just going on, and I said, well, just like in group coaching. And she looked at me, she said, girl, I've never done group coaching. And I was like, but I feel like I know you. She goes, because I comment and like all of your posts. But like, it was that level, that relationship formed. And You know, it just happens that way. Well, I'm so glad. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I agree too. And you were talking about the differences between buds and one-on-one. And I feel like I still got a lot of one-on-one attention from you. If I would send you questions or comments or whatever, you always responded. And that kind of makes you just feel like, oh, okay, she notices, she gets it, especially when there's 100 people in the group. You're kind of like, who's going to notice this, you know? But the reality is, if you know you were responsive enough as a coach that I kind of felt like, oh well, that's pretty good, you know, for because you respond more than I was expecting, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
That makes me feel good. Thanks.
It's true.
And I know there's sometimes that things do get overlooked, and that's just, you know, that's just life. But I do say, hey, if I did not respond, call me on it. I will come right back and try again, you know?
Yeah.
So well, I'm so glad. And so after buds, you went into blooms. Is this your first or second month of blooms?
I think this is going on 3.
3. Okay.
We ended in May we ended. So May and June. Yep.
We're going into it. Yeah.
Yep.
So how did you like blooms compared to buds? How's that going?
I felt like it was similar. It just you know, you weren't getting the foundational information because you already had that, so you didn't really need that anymore, which makes sense.
Right.
But yeah, the group interaction, I like the Facebook group. I think that's really helpful, and the coaching calls are good. I think maybe when you're once you're over the kind of the beginning jitters, the coaching classes get a little more in depth, and they're not quite so just foods, you know, flat on the surface food. Yeah.
Blooms is a lot more mindset because it's sustaining. It's sustaining that. I'm continually making the good decision. Remind me why.
Right. And going through like that, you know, I'm that girl. I don't even have the book, but I've learned a lot from that book, just going through it with you guys, you know?
Yeah. So just people listening and watching, Blooms is also on Mighty Networks, just like Buds. She did mention a Facebook group that's for my active and inactive clients only. They only get links to that, but it is a separate thing and it's free. So people, you just have to complete Buds or one-on-one to be in that. Yeah. But that one's fun. Y'all can post in there and chit chat and do all your things. Yes. Well, thank you so much for that little review of coaching. I appreciate it.
Oh, that was good.
Oh my goodness.
Well, it means a lot to me. You know, I think it meant more than I expected. And I don't think that it always comes across that way. It's like all about weight loss or whatever. And it was more than that for me. And so I think it's important you know that.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
A lot. Like, really. I put my heart into it, you know?
I can tell.
Yeah. Well, thank you. All right, girl, let's talk about that trip.
Okay.
Because when you were talking about it and like, I'm doing this, I had a little anxiety. Oh, my goodness.
You had anxiety. I was the one taking a 3,000-mile trip.
Okay, so how far again?
I went from New Hampshire to Arizona. So that's 3,000 miles. Okay. And we all know that the airline system is stellar, and you get everywhere you need to go on time without any you know, interruptions. So that was awesome.
All the stars align all the time.
Always, you know.
Were you traveling with your family?
Yes.
With your little boys.
Yes.
Okay.
And they were great, and you know, they're just little boys, so they just want to move and groove and go and, you know, do all the things. But I actually spent a ridiculous amount of mental space planning for the actual day in the airport, because I'm like, you know, we all know what's in the airport. And you know, you got 2 kids pulling on you, and you're dealing with delays and this and that and the other. And so I just planned it. I was like, okay, I made special purchases, like through the THM store. I got the cookies, I got the bars. I mean, stuff that I don't typically buy. I did it for myself so that I would have it available, so that I didn't have an excuse. Pack sweetener packets, like all that kind of stuff, which I didn't actually use, but I had it just in case.
Yeah.
And Yeah, and that's what happened. And I just really try to pay attention to my timing. Now that's really hard when you're going through 4 time zones.
I was gonna say,
Like,
Arizona.
I don't know what time it is or where I am, or so
Yes.
I kind of had to go by my body and how it felt, but I was like, I think it's probably been 3 to 4. I mean, maybe 4, I don't know. It's the day to get there, the total travel day was 14 hours. So, I mean, I was actually awake for 24 hours. And so I felt like I was eating for 24 hours because it was like, I'm eating it.
Gracious.
So, yeah. So I had, breakfast before I left. I had a bunless burger at the airport. I took the cookies with me. I forget what else I got.
Did you get collagen packets by chance?
I was going to, but I actually just got a brand new like container of collagen, and I just packed it in my check bag. So I had it when I got to my destination, but I didn't have it on the plane with me. But that was a thought of mine. But I didn't have any coffee on the airplane because that just airplane coffee doesn't sound good to me.
Okay, well, I flew to New York pre-COVID, and they had Starbucks coffee, and I had
well, that's better.
I had a trimmy in the. It might not have been though. I didn't know. It was just in a white cup. I mean, they could have been lying. It tasted Starbucksy though. I mean,
we're gonna go with Starbucks.
Yeah, it's strong.
Oh yeah. So yeah, so that's what I did. And then when I got there, I went to the grocery store, and I had, I just got yogurt and chips, and like the.
Now you did what? Now you just did what? You just went to the
grocery store.
Just went to the grocery store.
Yeah, that's it.
You know that does not occur to a lot of people. They freak out about having to pack. I'm like, can you not just go to a grocery store?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I do see some people are staying in a hotel, don't have a refrigerator. I have one client.
Yeah.
She's headed to Vegas, no refrigerator unless it's medically necessary.
It's medically necessary.
That is what I said. It is necessary to my medical.
Yes. I'll get a doctor's note. She must eat.
I can sign it for y'all. Coach Amy.
What would be hilarious is if that worked. That would be awesome.
It won't.
I know, but it would be awesome.
It would. I would do my best. I could even make a cute letterhead. Anyway, we digress. So you went to the grocery store and got yogurt and berries. What else?
Yeah, I made sure we had vegetables, and what else did I get? Sprouted bread and baked Tostitos, because I knew I was going to the Mexican restaurant.
Yeah.
Which that was the first time I ever decided to pack my own chips for the Mexican restaurant, and I did it twice.
Yeah. And
it was great because I felt good after I ate. Like, I mean, I was full because I ate too much Mexican because it's Mexican, but but I felt good. Like I wasn't feeling sickly, so
good.
Yeah, that's it. Just, the usual things that keep you going.
And how long were y'all there for?
2 full weeks.
Wow.
Yep. And so then I just got once I got kind of the next day was kind of jet lag, so I probably had more coffee than necessary, but we do what we got to do. So right. I then I just kind of got back on the timing schedule, the next day.
Good.
It just was really mentally preparing myself. Like I went on vacation saying I will stay on plan. My mother-in-law and sister-in-law and I went out for dinner, and I decided that morning, I was like, you know what? I'm going to let myself just have a dinner with them because we were going to Italian. There wasn't a whole lot of extra choices. And so I was kind of like, all right, we'll be okay for one meal. So I did do that, but I didn't feel guilty about it. I didn't feel like shame about it. It was just, that's what we did. And then I got right back to, that's it. I had my tea and I went to bed, Yeah.
Awesome.
So, yeah. I mean, I think it's just mindset, really.
It is. I had one girl tell me the other day, a client, she said, I just decided, just like you, y'all have heard me say that THM is non-negotiable for me. It's medically necessary. That's a new hashtag, Sarah. Yeah. Medically necessary. That'll get some interesting things, I'm sure. But it is, for me, it is. And not everybody is that way. There are some that, they make exceptions here and there, and they're happy with that. They're okay with it.
Right.
I'll have a couple of bites of, I'll plan things here and there, but it's rare that I'm going to choose something off plan, especially emotionally. I just don't. I feel like I've healed that part of my heart. And so I'm very thankful for that. Not saying it'll never happen again, because I don't know my future. But, I love how you said, I just chose. I mean, especially when you're in a situation where there's just not that many options, you just do your best, have that salad, make sure you got the non-starchies, and do what you can to stay as close to on plan as possible, and you'll be fine. And I think, of course, making that decision ahead of time is super good too. That's great.
And I also packed all my restaurant, the things you gave us, the restaurant module. I packed that with me, and I took that with me because there's different restaurants out there than there are here. So I was like, I'm not gonna remember all that. So I printed it and I put it in my thing. And so then when they were like, we're going to this restaurant, I was like, ooh, let me get out Coach Amy's thing and see what I can have. So I did that too. And I took my tracking sheet with me, and I tracked. So
wow.
So yeah,
you are a star student.
Well, I just wanted to feel good. I just was like, that's it. I'm done. I don't want to feel bad anymore. I spent a long time feeling bad. I had a lot of healing to do in my body from pregnancies that went well and pregnancies that were failed and all those kind of things for years. And I had a lot of I feel like I had a ton of adrenal fatigue. I had a lot of healing to do internally, and more probably than I even knew. Wow. My kids were both born very, very small. And, a part of me thinks back and says, I wonder if I knew how to eat, if that would have occurred. I don't know. I don't know if that's something I could have, fixed or not. Right. But going forward, I think, well, I know I wasn't at the healthiest, and I know after that I was very sick and near death. So I needed to heal. And so it's no wonder it's taken a long time to get where I am.
Wow. That's some great perspective though. Yeah, it really is.
Took a long time. The Lord has done a lot of work in me to teach me how to just accept what has happened versus wanting to try to analyze it and blame yourself for it.
Yeah. And that's what we talked about this past week in Blooms from I'm That Girl. Yeah. Look back only to be grateful, not to look back and wonder why, and just criticize yourself.
Yeah, I mean, there comes a point where you just have to say the past is the past, and I got to go forward. And today I know this information, so that's what I'm going to do.
Amen. I love it. Yeah. So talking about your man and your boys, I heard you say get us some vegetables, and we do this. So are they on board with you most of the time?
My kids, they love vegetables. They love fruit. They are kids. They want cereal. They want sugar because it tastes good.
Right.
But but we have strict limits, and I've been teaching them about, if you have a banana, you need to have a cheese stick or a protein to go with that banana. And they're getting it because they're like, okay, if I have something healthy, then can I have an X, Y, or Z with it? And they're trying to learn how to pair these foods. I'm not pushing it on them. It's just they're seeing what mom's doing. And I cook THM dinner, they eat it,
Yeah.
My husband had a health scare this last year. And so he's changed his entire way of eating, which actually is very similar to THM, which makes me laugh because, I'm like, that's what I've been doing. And he's like, but he can't seem to, he doesn't want to get rid of everything, which is totally fine. Right. But doing what he's done, he's fixed his health a lot. And so, yeah, we all eat on salad plates. All four of us eat on salad plates. We all, try to remind each other to drink water during the day, like all those kind of things. So they actually eat very healthy for children, I think.
Good job, Mama. Have you done the Trim Healthy Mama? What is it called? the homeschool curriculum thing?
I haven't yet. We talked about that this year. We might add that in this year or next semester.
It's really
good.
It
would be fun.
Yeah, it's really good. Your boys will love it. And it had the recipe card is worth it, whether you use the curriculum book or not. Those recipe cards are great. So I think your boys would love that.
And my 8-year-old, he loves to cook. And so, if I can incorporate cooking into his schooling, he's always about that. So.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, a man that knows how to cook. Oh, yes. Raise them up, girl. Raise them up. That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. So what would you say was one of your biggest struggles in that mindset? Like what did you have the hardest time kind of conquering?
I think just not thinking about it as I'm on this diet to lose weight, because that is short-term thinking. And I need long-term thinking, like, okay, I'm 40. Life can't look the way it did when I was 20. And my health doesn't look the way it did when I was 20. And so I have to do something different. And in order to do something different, I have to think differently.
Yep.
So long-term thinking, I think, is really where it comes down to. In 10 years, do I still want to be struggling with, oh, I gotta go lose weight now, no, I don't. I want to know, and it's not just about the weight for me. Like, I can stay awake in the afternoon, and that is a big deal. I couldn't do that, a year ago.
That's
so
awesome.
So that kind of stuff, I want that to keep getting better, not going. I don't want to go backwards anymore.
That's awesome. You're great. You're doing great. You're doing great. So great.
Thank you.
I love it. What about exercise? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, it seems slow. It's slow going to anybody, it's like, oof, is this ever going to go anywhere? But, it's like I tell my kids all the time, it's just one bite at a time. You just have to do things one bite at a time, whether it's eating food or doing your math homework. It's one piece at a time to get to the next piece. And so that's what I keep thinking of.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you exercise any?
So I hadn't been exercising because I had been so tired. I just had depleted, by 3:00 in the afternoon, and I didn't do anything. I literally sat in front of the computer working and felt depleted. It was terrible. But in the last couple of weeks, I've been at least able to, walk or run, play badminton outside with my boys, or things that I couldn't have done a year ago. So I'm slowly getting there. Exercise is a mindset that I have to change as well. Yeah. And so I'm working on that. That's kind of the next, I think that's the next big hurdle for me.
That's all right. That's all right.
Yeah.
I've had people that tell me, I didn't know I could be your client because I don't do CrossFit. I'm like, no, they ain't got nothing to do with it.
Yeah, you got to find what works for you.
Go to CrossFit. You don't have to go.
Yeah. I mean, we know a lot of people up here that go to CrossFit. We do not have one in our town. So for me to go to CrossFit, I have to drive 35 minutes.
No, indeed.
That's not going to happen.
Nope. Nope. That's
so
great.
I have to find things that I can do that are, just here. So I do the walking. I like the walking videos, and we have a tread climber, which is like a treadmill, but an elliptical altogether.
Okay.
So,
well, and just being with your boys and doing things, that's just going to naturally happen. So that's good. Just the whole fact that you're not sedentary is huge. One of my goals, bless America, going into my next month of coaching and working is to not be sitting here all day, to work my schedule to where I can get up and move, because I don't know if you follow my stories, but mercy, there's 2 days a week where I barely get 2,000 to 3,000 steps because I've just got constant.
Yeah.
And if I don't go to CrossFit on Monday, it's bad. And so, and that affects, talk about being tired in the afternoon, just sitting here looking at the computer, using my brain, and coaching is very emotional, group or one-on-one girls. And so it kind of wears on me a little bit. It's not, I don't flip out and cry my eyeballs out all the time or anything, but you know, it does take a little level of that. And so that kind of all goes together. So I'm trying to work through that so that I am my best self as well. Right.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
y'all would not want me to be struggling to help y'all. So,
Right.
It's reevaluating. You have to reevaluate every now and then, you know, you do.
Get yourself a stand-up desk.
No.
No? Why not?
Because this one's built in.
Oh.
It's all built in, girl.
Okay, we'll come up with a different idea then.
I'll just get up. I'm going to get up and go out. It'll be fine. I'll be fine. I had to talk to one client on the phone a couple of days ago, and I just walked from wall to wall, back and forth while I talked to her on the phone.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. So let's talk about meal planning. Do you use Coach Amy's menus? Do you write?
I do sometimes. Sometimes. I get good ideas from there. I like the simple meals. I actually like this one that you did, the blogging one that you did this week. Yes. I haven't done anything on there yet, but I definitely will. I'll go back through it. But yeah, it gives me good ideas, especially when I'm like needing a specific fuel and for that day or that week or whatever. And I try to stick to the idea of sticking to one cookbook a week. Yeah. That makes it easier.
It does. It does. It's just something about that. Just keeping a cookbook one on your counter all week, and the rest of them can take their nap in the drawer of the cabinet, and then you can bring
it's
them
not
back.
so. It feels less overwhelming that way.
Does.
I think so.
It does. You're right. So, let's think. What else do I want to ask you about? You have covered so many things. Have you dealt with any stalls since you started Buds and kind of got back, since January?
Trying to think. I've noticed if I think there was a week or so there where, nothing much was really happening, but I just realized this last Sunday when we had our meeting that I was eating like bread grains every morning or every day. I guess morning or afternoon usually is when I have those. And I was like, I should probably, and I know you talk a lot about varying it, but I don't think about other e-fuels. I'm just like, oh, bread. And you're like, that's easy.
Yeah.
But then it was like, okay, well, let's try a potato or let's try quinoa, which I have not tried yet, but I'm going to.
Do it, girl, do it.
I know. I don't know why. It's on my counter. I just haven't cooked it yet, but I need to do that. But so I did that. I changed it up and I did some potatoes and then I did some, I think brown rice or something like that. And that helped. It finally moved. It started moving again. So
very good. Very good. So let's talk about your non-scale victories. Just give me some that you've really been proud of.
Well, I can stay awake. I think that's good.
Yes.
Let's see what else. Everything fits better. It's just more comfortable. I don't feel so like sausage in a casing,
Yes, stuff in your clothes. Yes.
Yeah. I just was not feeling great with that. I know some of the stuff that I had tried on to take to Arizona with me back in end of April didn't fit, and I went through everything last week or so, and everything fit, and I was like, oh, it all fits now. So that was great. Yeah. So poundage and inches are not great amounts, but things are just starting to fit better and be more comfortable.
Well, I mean, talking about your pregnancies and, I'm sure all of the steroids and antibiotics and all of that stuff that you were pumped full of during those days, it causes issues in your body. And so, you are seeing movement, which some people don't for a super long time. So I think if you just stick with it, like I know you will, you'll see it'll slowly tick.
Yeah.
And I would rather y'all lose slowly and consistently than quickly and then say, oh, well, I lost it all. I'll do this, you're right back where you were.
No, it's better. It's better for my mindset to go slower for sure. I think, when I had my first pregnancy, my son came a week early, but he was only 4 pounds. So he's really small and they didn't know why. And after he was born, I actually got incredibly sick to the point where they thought I was going to have a stroke.
Wow.
And so I was in the hospital for a long time, and who knows what they gave me because I was delirious. And and then when we came home, you know, I just look at pictures of myself back then and I'm like, man, I look so sick. Like just you could just tell that was not a healthy human being, you know.
Right.
And then you know, a few years later we went through miscarriage, and then there was all that you had to go through. And then the next year I had my second son, and he was a preemie. He came 3 months early, and he was a pound and a half. So he was in the NICU. I know, he was in the NICU for 78 days, and they didn't think he was alive when he came out, and they pretty much thought I was going to stroke out and die. So it was, and I'm not being dramatic, that's just what it was. But so my body's been through a lot in the, you know, in very short years, you know, and that's when you're supposed to be like your healthiest, in your 20s. And I'm like, this is not going well.
Wow.
So yeah, but we got through all of that. Everybody's home and healthy now. And so now I can focus on actually healing internally.
Yeah, that's right.
Because I'm not in crisis mode.
Yeah, for sure. But you know, and just Term Healthy Mama, just it naturally just takes care of you from the inside out. It just does.
You know, I've learned a lot too about healthy nutritional foods or supplements or things that you just never even thought about, like, oh, that does that, I didn't know that, like turmeric, or just, you know, random things that in a normal American diet you would never even think about putting in your body, or apple cider vinegar, or any of those kind of things that I've seen make a big difference.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
I love
good. You know, the Lord's been good to me, and he's blessed me, and all I can do is feel like I need to do something to bless him back and take care of the body he gave me. Now
I agree with that 1,000,000%.
Yeah
I pray that people listening to that will take that to heart and like really let that sink in, because that right there, you know, I don't know if you listen to my CrossFit drive in our Facebook group for active and inactive clients. I go live every morning when I'm driving to CrossFit. I might not should have said that like publicly, you know, the whole 400 people that listen to my podcast. But anyway, so I encourage them to think about, we talk about your why a lot, you know, and a lot of it is health. A lot of people, I mean, honestly, they need to lose weight to be healthier, and there's nothing wrong with saying that, but that's not going to get you very far on a bad day. So you've really got to think about what drives you as well, not just your why, but what drives you. And, you know, for me and you, the same, we feel so good on plan, and we want to be that good example to our family. I just can't go back to where I was. I can't, you know, and I think you feel the same way. And so I want to bottle that up and like give it to everybody, you know, because I want it so much for everybody, client, follower, somebody that'll never even know who I am. I just want to give it to everybody so that they can be successful too.
Yep.
Truly.
Yep. Well, those of us who have found it and are at least, you know, receiving from you are getting a lot, and are, you know, I know for myself, I'm very grateful, because it was kind of my last hurrah. Like, I'm going to try this one more time. And if I can't get anywhere, then what's going to happen? What's going to happen is I'm going to follow what has always been. And that's not going to make me a better human being or able to do anything for anybody else. And so,
yeah. Well, I'm so glad.
Me too.
How did you find me?
You know, I think it was the Lord. And I know that sounds cheesy, but it really was. I was praying.
Cry my eyeballs out.
Well, I was praying a lot about what to do, and I just felt like, I don't know what to do. And it, you know, your buds program, it costs money, right? It should. It's a huge service that you do. And for me, that was a financial stretch. I was like, talked to my husband about it, and he's like, okay, but you know, and I'm like, I know, but I promise I will put my all into it and at least get what I can get out of it. And when I did that, you know, I think he saw the difference and realized, okay, this is actually finally something that is sticking and changing her mindset. And I'm grateful to the Lord, because I didn't look at any other coaches. I was like, oh, Bud's done doing that. Like, that was it. Okay. And, you know, and I sent the form in, and that was that.
Wow.
Yeah. It was just like a decision, and it was like, okay.
It's like, Sarah, there's like women that they've been following me for whatever, like, oh my goodness, almost 3 years I've been a coach, which is crazy. You know, they've been following me, and like they'll finally, I don't know what took me so long to do coaching. And then there's some, they're like, oh yeah, I'll do that, girl. That's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, I liked your personality, I liked your videos. I just thought that the simple was what I needed. Like, okay, I love the idea of making sourdough bread, but I'm not in that place to do that right now.
I will never make it.
You know,
kudos and love and preciousness to all of you who do. Sure. I'll never do it. Yeah. I'm telling you right now, it's not happening.
And, you know, someday I might get to that point where I have extra, you know, time to read through it and try to figure all that out, because that's interesting to me. But really, I need somebody who's like, okay, open this can, stick it in the pan, and eat it.
Yeah. Did you watch the live from today in the kitchen?
I saw part of it, and then I got pulled away.
Oh, that's okay. So I made the lasagna in a bowl, Brianna Thomas.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It was so good. Yeah. I think I've made it before, because I was like, I've had this, but it was absolutely incredible.
I'll have to try that one.
And I put Brianna, if you're listeing, I know she's not. I put spinach in the bottom, and it, you know, I need a non-starchy. And it was great, and it took minutes to put together. Y'all need to look that up. Brianna Thomas, lasagna in a bowl. So good. Single serve, microwave it. Boom. All done.
That's me. That's what I need, especially working and schooling. Right now we're off school break, so I have a little extra time, but I never thought about canned chicken. I'm like, dang, that's what I need to go get at the store. Canned chicken and tuna.
Life changing.
Call it good.
So things I've never had until THM: canned chicken, frozen okra, not breaded.
Oh yeah.
Mango.
Yeah.
Collagen. Well, I hadn't had whey powder, but I used whey to make Knox's formula when I was doing that. Bless. I did the Weston A. Price. It was super intense, but we did it. What else? I can't think of anything. Oh, nutritional yeast. What the heck is that?
Yeah.
You know, and then the sweeteners like stevia and all that, super far into me. So if any of you listening are newbies, I mean, like, you don't have to understand it all, you know, just slowly do it. And if you do coaching, I will explain it to you very well.
Yes. And you don't have to do all the things. You just pick one. Just pick one. You know, start with canned chicken, really. Like,
you'll get that anywhere.
Yeah. It's true.
That's funny. I just posted a picture of Lily. I am shamelessly, because I'm offering it, promoting our mother-daughter group. And so I posted a picture. She was cooking, and I'm like, oh, say cheese. Can I post this? She was like, yeah. So anyway, we are going to do a mother-daughter group. Sorry, Sarah, you don't have a daughter. It's okay, right? You can just puffy heart all the things. It'll be fine. But, you know, I think that is a big thing for moms to be able to teach their daughters all of this. And I might do a mother-son group eventually, or just do a mother and kids. I don't know. But this is to get, you know, more of that tween teen age where they understand that being healthy early on will set your adulthood up for success. Because man, what I would give to know what I know now from back then, I think I could have avoided, I wouldn't have had to have a hysterectomy. I feel like I would have known so many things.
Yeah.
So that past, you know, I'm not regretting it, but I'm going to use it to help everybody else. You know, like that is my desire all the way around, you know, from decisions I made as a teenager that I'm using to teach my girls all the things, and then go into, health and food and wellness and body image. We're going to talk about that too. So I'm excited about that. But I think pouring into your children, with or without Trim Healthy Mama being something they are encouraged to do like 100%, because honestly, that's not really realistic. It's just not. But if you want to, of course, you do you. But, I just think that's going to be a great opportunity for my girls to pour into people too. They're very excited. They are going to be very active in there. It'll be on Mighty Networks too. So I'm excited about that. But yeah, Lily, bless her heart, and her canned chicken. Oh, it's so funny. And Katie, she's like, we're out of nutritional yeast. And I'm like, at 13, I had never even heard of nutritional yeast. Oh man. Have you made the yogurt banana split for your boys?
I think we've done a version of that. Yes.
My boys, I think they eat that every day.
Wow. Yeah. My kids eat yogurt every day. But they like their yogurt with the sugar-free chocolate chips.
Yes, we do too. Yes.
Yeah. So
the unicorn with the lilies.
Yeah.
Knox loves the unicorn lilies.
Oh, I haven't tried those.
Oh yeah. He loves them. And Camp doesn't like them. Camp wants the lilies dark, the tiny ones. Yeah. That's what he wants. So we're like, okay.
Sounds like my kids. One wants vanilla, one wants chocolate.
Yeah, they're all different. They're all different. That's so sweet. Well, girl, we're gonna wrap it up. Are there any last words you want to leave for the ladies?
And just say, just keep on trucking. It really is one bite at a time. And the more things you can put into your mind to help you get out of that negative space, the better. And the groups are great if you're part of them. The coaching is great if you're part of it. But even if you're not, you can still be encouraged and involved and ask questions or what have you. It's a long-term thinking, and that's where we all need to settle, is that it's long-term. This health has to be long-term. If we want a long life, we have to have a long health.
Yeah, that is awesome. I wrote that down a long time ago. Long-term thinking. It's on the sticky note. And also hashtag medically necessary.
Yes.
I love it. Well, thank you again. I've got to find my button. I have to move my board. All right. Bye, everybody. We hope y'all have a wonderful week.
Bye.